I'm Pam Groves, my husband's Roger Groves, and I've been caring for him now since he came out of hospital. I've been caring him for about 11, 12 months now. He had a blood clot on his spine, and they operated in Stoke Mandeville, and that made him, he was paralysed from the waist down. 5 weeks after the operation, unfortunately, he had a stroke on his left side, which meant that the left side of him is also paralysed from the top part. So really, he's completely incapable of doing anything for himself at all. It's a 24-hour caring role, 7 days a week, because Roger can't do anything for himself. The carers come in at 8 o'clock to 9 to put him on a commode, and then they shower him and part dress him to top part, and then they go, and then the rest of the time I have to look after him. I have to feed him, I have to see to everything, every single thing that he wants, I have to deal with. He doesn't like me to leave him, so I have to sit with him a lot and I read to him. In between that I have to get him a lunch ready, and in the afternoon when he's in his wheelchair for 2.5 hours, and I have to sit and occupy him because he doesn't like his wheelchair. Then they come at 3 o'clock, put him back to bed, and from then on it's my responsibility again, and I just have to literally look after him the whole time. He will wake up twice in the night. Once he wakes up in pain and I have to give him his morphine, and the second time he wakes up probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours afterwards, because he thinks he wants the commode. But I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning because I have to get up at 5 o'clock to make sure that I can do the things that I have to do before he wakes up. And at 6 o'clock in the morning he has 10 lots of tablets that I have to give him. And he has his tablets 4 times a day, so they will have to be sorted. And if I'm lucky, I'll get my shower between 6 and 7. I rush and get a shower before he wakes up. Then I get all the things that the carers need, all his towels, all his clothes, see to all that. Then I'll get his breakfast, which I feed him with, and he has 3 or 4 different things a day to try and help the bowel movement. I have to help him shave. He can shave himself a little bit with his shaver, but his arm aches. He'll put it down and say, I can't do any more. So then I'll carry on and shave him, and then I'll help him clean his teeth. And then when the carers are here, I try to do all my ironing, because there's washing and ironing every day. They use 4 bath towels a day for him, without all his sheets and his clothes. So I try to do the ironing every morning when they're here, because after they've gone, then my time is occupied with him, unless he goes to sleep. And if he falls to sleep, then I can potter around and do some dusting, get the meal ready for lunch, but I cannot hoover because that would wake him up. But the chances are he'll sleep for an hour and a half, then he'll ring his bell, and then he'll want something, and then I go and see to him. And that will go on all day long, and finally I will get to bed about 10:30 at night when I've done everything for him. I read to him for 3-4 hours till he goes to sleep at night. I have to put his night bag on and change it in the morning, and I have to make sure that he's taking his tablets. I have to make sure that he's got drink there in case he wakes up in the night for it, and just see that he's got everything that he wants. You're on the go all day with him. It's a full-time occupation, really. Not really having anybody to help you or advise you, and feeling totally isolated. You are, and lonely, you get very lonely, because although you have the carers coming in, they're really here to look after Roger, and they go in and see to him, and you don't really get to talk to anybody, really. You're just literally left to get on with it. And I find that very frustrating. And that you can't get anywhere with anybody, you know. Nobody wants to know. Nobody wants to know anything. Just, well, you're his carer, you get on and do it. So I do. I think you saw that this morning, with Roger appreciating what I do and call him his angel. That makes it all worthwhile to me.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's taken away our lives. We don't have a life. We just have an existence. We can't socialise, can't go anywhere, can't do anything. Just totally in this little bungalow, and there we stay. We don't have a life as such, you know. I mean, it sounds silly to say this, but it is true. I can't even go out and post a birthday card to my friend, only on a Thursday and a Sunday, because he can't be left. And you don't realise that till it actually happens. You say, oh, Jean's birthday next week, oh, I'll go and post it. And you think, oh no, I can't get out to post it, it's going to have to wait. If it's late, it's late. You just put a little note and say, sorry, it's late, I couldn't get out. The only way we could go out together is, as I said, if he had, you know, this mobility car where you could put the wheelchair in and then you could drive him out somewhere and sit somewhere. But you're limited to you'd have 2.5 hours, but at least he'd have a different surrounding. I mean, my son did get him out one day, but he said to me, Mum, it's a heavy wheelchair with him in it. You'd never be able to wheel him anywhere. He just took him up the path here a bit and came back, and he said, you wouldn't be able to do it, Mum. You couldn't wheel him in that wheelchair, it's far too heavy for you. I would say don't get despondent, and try not to get depressed. It would be hard for them, but try not to get depressed. And according to who you're caring for, if you're caring for somebody who's not in Roger's position, who can be left with a carer, try to get out and socialise as much as possible, because that is very important for you. It will make you a better carer for who you're caring for, because you won't be with them, and you won't. I never do resent that I'm with Roger all the time, because I'm madly in love with him. But I would imagine that if you were in my position, some people could resent having to be caring all the time and not getting out. So I would say try as much as you can to socialise with other people, because then the person you're caring for will benefit. They'll benefit because you'll be more tolerant, more happy in your life. Well, carers, unfortunately I can't get to any of their programmes that they do, although I look at them and I think they're very interesting. I did manage to get to one event that they had at Stoken Church in the doctor's surgery, and I found it was very good to speak to other people who were carers, and I found them all very helpful and obliging. And I know if I'm really desperate and I pick up the phone to them, I know they will talk me through my problem and help me as much as they can. So at least I know there is somebody there who's caring, who cares for my problem, you know. So that makes me feel a bit safer, a bit happier, and I think, oh yeah, well there is carers bucks if I really need them. And I would say to people who are carers, if they're members of it, and you can get to some of their programmes, do, because they're very interesting programmes, they look very interesting, and I think you would enjoy them a lot, and being with people that you can talk to about your problem and how you care for your person, very important.